everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Tuesday, August 25th, and it's kind of a coolish gray day here. It's been raining off and on. Right now it's about as warm as it's going to get today, about 66 degrees Fahrenheit, 19 degrees C. So the past couple days has been kind of cool and rain, but it is what it is. We're heading towards the end of summer. Let's see. Before I start, I don't say it very often. I've kind of gotten away from it, but just for those of you that might be new here, I'm Gwen. I'm an older mature woman with transgender experience, making content about my daily normal life as a transgender woman. So everyone here is welcome. So here we are. I hope everyone had a wonderful week. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Let's see, mine wasn't really overly exciting. Just trying to think. Nothing really too much going on. Our new family addition that you saw last week, Danny, he's doing really good. He's adjusting better and faster than what I had anticipated. I'm trying to think, it was Saturday? It was Friday. It was Friday because my daughter took off from work Friday because she had to have some blood tests done. She was sitting on the floor, and Dexter had come over, of course, and Danny come over, and he let her pet him. So that was a big improvement. Right now, I'm the only one that can get close to Danny, which really isn't not a surprise considering what I know about his past. And in years past, I had a female. Her name was Nina. She was kind of like the same way. I was the only one that could get really, really close to her. I mean, I could pick her up and hold her like a baby. I was the only one that could do that. Anyone else, she would nip at. Danny, I feel, is kind of the same way. But he's a little bit better. It's just taking time for him to trust everybody. I mean, he trusts me, and he's getting so that he trusts my daughter. He's still fearful. I'm not going to say scared. He's fearful around my son, but he's getting better in that he's starting to approach my son more. So, anyways, so yeah, that's kind of the update on him. I'm still working through the issues on the eastern side of the state concerning dogs that were seized. That's a whole different issue. Let's see. Saturday, my daughter and I went to get our hair cut, and our stylist was amazed. She goes, "Oh my gosh," she goes, "I'm amazed how much your hair's grown in 5 weeks." She thinks it probably grew a good ½ inch. She trimmed, like I said, just about 1/4 of an inch off, just to keep the ends so they don't get frizzy or straggly. So, but she's like, "Oh my gosh, it looks really, really good." So, let's see, that was Saturday. Sunday I did go to my old church, and it was during coffee hour that they had after the service. happened to be talking to this woman. I've known her husband and the girls. They have 4 girls, probably 30 years, and she used to be an admissions. I'm not gonna say counselor. Some kind of an admissions administrator at one of the state colleges. She's since retired, but anyways, her and I were standing there getting coffee, and she goes, "Can I ask you a question?" Now, I gotta step back. I was presenting as my old self. So she says to me, "Can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Sure." She goes, "So what do you prefer to go by as far as names?" Oh, we're going to have this conversation. So we talked about it, and she's cool with it. So I'm like, okay. So somebody besides the minister within the church knows and is aware, which I don't have a problem with. I still feel more accepted and welcome at my new church. I'm going to continue to attend there. But anyways, let's see. So that's pretty much about it. I mean, not really much was going on this week or even this weekend. This coming week, tomorrow's going to be busy. I have to. I'm going for. My dermatologist recommended it. It's B. It's a study. It has to do with older people. Yeah, we all. But anyways, older people with psoriasis and how psoriasis can actually develop into arthritis. So my dermatologist was asking me, do you have any joint pain, or pain in the joints, whatever, especially around the areas where I have psoriasis, which is my elbows and my knees? And I said no. So he goes, well, there's a colleague that's doing this study. Would you be interested? And I'm like, sure. It was a similar study that I participated in last year, where they actually wound up taking skin biopsies, and I got to know the nurse that was involved in that procedure. So she's going to be working with me in this new study that I'm going to tomorrow. And what they're going to do, it's mostly just ultrasound of the joints to see if they see any arthritis. So that's about all I really know about it. So I'll have to wait and see. So it's going to be busy. So I have to be there at 11 a.m. in the morning, and then I get done with that, and because I asked her, I'm like, is this going to take more than like 2 hours? And she goes, oh no, probably an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes at the most. I'm like, great, because I have another appointment. I have electrolysis. Luckily that's only like 10 minutes away, but I don't want to miss that appointment. So I'm like, so I got to go from one to another, and then I have to stop at the store on the way home, and then I get back home again. So tomorrow's going to be busy. The rest of the week, oh my gosh, no, it's really nothing much going on. There's a possibility that next Monday, I got to wait and see. My friend who was in skilled nursing, and I was watching her 3 dogs earlier in this year, her refrigerator died, and she does not have the money to buy a new one. So this mutual friend of ours that also has a Whippet, actually one of Danny's brothers, she's like, well, I'm guessing, I think she saw on Facebook Marketplace, like a refrigerator for $200. And she goes, well, I'd be willing to buy it. She goes, but I don't know how I can get it in and out of her house. I says, well, I have an appliance dolly. I says, but I don't have a pickup truck to transport the refrigerator. She goes, well, we've got a pickup truck. And she goes, it would just be a case of getting it off the truck and into the house. And I'm like, that's not a big deal. I've done that before. So she's going to kind of coordinate this. And if it does happen, then next Monday, her and I are going to meet at our friend's house, bring her a new refrigerator for her, so at least she has a working refrigerator. And what she's doing, the refrigerator she has, the compressor died, so every other day she goes, I think she goes to Walmart and she buys, I don't know how many bags of ice to put in her refrigerator to keep items cold. So hopefully this will solve this problem for her. But right now I gotta wait and hear back from our mutual friend to make sure that this is all gonna happen. Oh, let's see, what else is going on? Well, of course, this week, in the I guess you would say international news, the hostilities in Iran are still ongoing. And of course, the U.S. president has decided to start a trade war with Canada. The last thing we need. And then I even saw a blurb this morning that he wants to rename Lake Ontario, one of the Great Lakes, to Lake America, because he doesn't want the name Ontario. Well, because Ontario is also associated with the Canadian province of Ontario. He doesn't want anything that's remotely Canadian attached. That makes no sense whatsoever, because, and again, look where it's coming from, because a lot of the names of cities and I guess you want to call them landmarks are in Michigan and in New York are Native American names. I'm trying to think if I'm thinking there might be a couple of cities in Ohio. I think Toledo might be one of them. Anyways, so a lot of these landmarks and cities are Native American, like Muskegon, Michigan, Native American. Canandaigua Lake in New York, which is part of the Finger Lake system, that is Native American. And it's like, it has nothing to do with Canada. It's 1,000 years ago, that was all Native American land. I mean, so, they named it that, and the first European settlers adopted those names. But it is so asinine and is so ridiculous and distracting from the problems that this country is currently having with high inflation, rising gas prices again, rising food costs again, electricity prices are crazy, and it's like, let's focus on affordability for the everyday American. I mean, even housing prices are crazy. I was having a discussion with my daughter, and you figure she's 33 years old, and she's like, there's so many people of my generation that will never be able to afford a house because the housing prices are just out of sight. People can't afford them. Now, I was reading something the other day that talked about how the unemployment rate is low, but that's not a true reading of unemployment, because it went on to talk about how there's so many people, quite a few people, that are underemployed. So in other words, they might be working 2 20 or 30-hour jobs to make up for one 40-hour job. So there's a lot of they're underemployed, unemployed, or even in my son's case, he's unemployed, and because of his autism, he has limited skill sets, and a lot of jobs he can't apply for. Many jobs he can't apply for because he does not have the skill set. So he's currently working with a couple of agencies to help him, I'm not going to say address these issues, but to help him find jobs that he could possibly do given his disability. His biggest problem is ever since he was, 3 years old, so it's been 30 years now that we've been aware of this, he is fine motor skill issues. So maybe a gross motor skill would be like walking or things like that. A fine motor skill would be like sewing or walking a balance beam. He doesn't have those. Fine motor skills, so it's a little bit of a challenge for him. And also kind of related to the autism, unfortunately, it's kind of a legend that people that are autistic tend to be very intelligent and especially very intelligent in terms of math skills. My son's intelligent. He's more of, I guess you want to call, the philosopher side when it comes to math skills. Nope. He has basic math skills, and that's about it. Now my daughter, on the other hand, who is she's not as autistic as he is. When she was in college, she was actually taking pre-calculus level courses. So it varies to the individual. But anyways, so hopefully for my son things will happen. But the main gist of it is that the economy is not as rosy and cheery as the federal administration would like everyone to believe. And instead of engaging in these senseless wars or these trade wars with other countries, we need to focus on everyday availability for all of us. The fact that I'm working part-time, 30 hours a week, and also collecting my full Social Security, and I'm just staying even with all the bills, really says a lot. I mean, someone at my income level shouldn't be having to work 30 hours a week part-time to survive. This is crazy. But anyways, enough. I'm off my soapbox. It's a nice day. I don't want to belabor that and ruin the day. There. So anyways, I've kind of rambled on long enough and said my piece. So I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your week. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic weekend. And as always, like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, topics you would like me to talk about, please, in the comment section below. I do answer. I haven't, and I will. Haven't answered last week's comments, but I will. I do respond to all comments, good and bad. If they're bad, you may not like my answer, but that's too bad. And as I say every week, and I truly, truly, truly mean it, I make these videos every week for all of you because I consider you all of my extended family. I may never ever meet all of you face to face, but that still doesn't matter. You're all part of my family, and I enjoy reaching out to you and finding out how you are, and me telling everybody how I'm doing. And this is what families do, and I enjoy doing this. And this is my way of, keeping in contact with all of you. And I really do appreciate it. So I thank you for watching, and again, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you all right here next Tuesday. Bye, everyone.